Critics of President Trump are calling him tone deaf for posting pictures of his newly renovated White House bathroom during the government shutdown. But I'm happy that the floor looks slippery.
Yes. The left is here, and the left kills. The left is a blood-drenched gang of murderous ghouls. We call them the Democratic Party. Well, very happy and joyous Monday to you. I hope you had a wonderful Halloween weekend. We had a riot in Washington, D.C., and I don't mean a good time was had by all. I mean we had a riot because the Democrat Party is a violent mob of criminals. And the violent mob of criminals, the offspring of adult Democrats, violently attacked police and the National Guard and anybody they could find in a neighborhood called Navy Yard, or the Navy Yard, because there's a Navy Yard down in that neighborhood, and the Marine barracks as well, the Marine Corps barracks as well, where the Commandant of the Marine Corps lives. But the Democrat Party is a violent party, a violent political party, and they field mobs of violent people quite commonly. The Speaker of the House this morning on Capitol Hill coming out and talking about all the lies that the Democrats are telling, and that includes the news media, the Democrats and the news media, but I repeat myself, and the Speaker of the House had flanking him, his next-ranking Republican in the House, Steve Scalise, who was shot by a would-be assassin and nearly murdered several years ago now while on the baseball field, the baseball diamond in Alexandria, Virginia, when a Bernie Sanders campaign volunteer came out with a Chinese combat assault rifle and shot Congressman Steve Scalise through the midsection, darn near killing him with the Chinese combat rifle. But Steve Scalise stood there square-jawed and steady because he's not a Democrat. And it's amazing he survived. The Bernie Sanders campaign volunteer had wanted to murder every Republican on the baseball field, more than a dozen of them, more than a dozen. It was an attempted mass political assassination, and that's okay. Now, the Speaker of the House came out because the Democrats say it's okay, and that means the media says it's okay, right? But the Speaker came out, Mike Johnson, and he's laying out the lies that the Democrats are telling, starting with the number one, that Republicans shut the government down. This is what the Democrats are saying, and they lie about everything, because if they're speaking, they're lying. That's how you can tell. It's the old lips are moving thing, that whole thing. But the Democrats have voted now 14 times to keep the government shut down, and the government is shut down because the Democrats have voted every time in the Senate to shut the government down. Now, the Democrats, virtually every Democrat in the House of Representatives, voted to shut the government down when the Speaker got the continuing resolution through. We all call it a CR because we like to abbreviate everything. That annoys the hell out of me. But the continuing resolution was passed through the House of Representatives under the Speaker, Mike Johnson. And, almost every Democrat voted against keeping the government open in the House. Then they got over to the Senate, and pretty much every Democrat voted 14 times to shut the government down again and again and again. And then the news media says, why did the Republicans shut the government down? Because they're filthy, corrupt. They cheat on their wives. They cheat on their husbands. Sometimes the women cheat on their wives. The men cheat on their husbands. It's complicated. Aren't they amazing? So we've got that going. And the government is still shut down. Day 34 of the government shutdown today, Monday, the 3rd of November. And we are in day 34 of the shutdown. Tomorrow, it will be day 35 because the Democrats are going to keep it shut down. The filthy, corrupt Chuck Schumer, Lizard King Democrats, they're going to keep it shut down. Tomorrow is 35 days for a government shutdown is the record for government shutdowns. And Democrats did it then, and then they lied about it, and the news media lied about it. And that's why nobody trusts the filthy news media people, especially their spouses. That's kind of a big thing in town, I got to tell you. So tomorrow, day 35, and that will tie the record length for a government shutdown. The Democrats did it. And air traffic controllers working without pay, air traffic controls. Over the weekend, there were all kinds of reports about the hyper-long delays at airports across the country. Some airports are standouts in New York or Newark, and in Atlanta and Los Angeles, LAX. The lines for TSA, for the transportation security, that apparently going on for hours and hours and hours. And then if you make it to your plane on time, then you may sit there for an hour and a half on the runway waiting to launch, waiting to take off. And it's all because of the Democrats. The Democrats. Those rascally people. Aren't they amazing? Yes, they are. And let's see, where do we go to? The Democrats, I keep seeing in the news media, the Democrats have brought out the big guns. It's always about guns. You notice that? It's always about guns. It's about shooting people. Last night was the Redskins game. Not a successful, not a victorious Redskins football team. The Commanders, they call them, because they're very militaristic. Very militaristic. They're racist, first and foremost, but they're very militaristic, too. And Redskins, not a good performance last night. Not good at all. It was kind of tragic. But there you have it. Now, all right, let me get back to the news of the day, because they're saying the big guns. That's Mike, I want to get to Mike Johnson next, 21, I think, right? And Barack Obama, he's out there campaigning for Democrats. And he hates America, and he hates people. He hates people because he's a leftist, and leftists hate people. That's the starting point of being a leftist, is you hate humanity, and that really gets the ball rolling with the 100 million murders of human beings in the 20th century. And now we're already a quarter of the way through the 21st century, and the Democrats, they're getting to work here in the United States. They're playing the long game here. But I think I see what's coming. All right, let's go to because we're talking about the government shutdown, and then we'll get to politics and stuff. But let's go to soundbite number 21. The Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, talking about the Democrats and what the Democrats are doing to keep the government shut down.
Democrats have voted 14 times now, Shannon, to keep the government closed. You have the major airlines in the country. You have every segment of the population and hardworking Americans who will be going without. You have 42 million recipients of SNAP that are in jeopardy right now. You have women, infants, and children because the nutrition program that President Trump and the White House have heroically funded thus far is running out of money. And, of course, the troops. I mean, we've gotten them paid now for 2 cycles, but that money is not inexhaustible, and it's running out. And so increasingly, the American people will be feeling the pain. And after we pass that threshold of the first of this month, it gets very real for more and more people.
And that's why the Democrats, what do they call it, Michael? Leverage. They call it leverage. And who are they targeting with the crosshairs and the scope on their rifles, that like the one that they used to assassinate Charlie Kirk, and 42 million Americans who are starving every day and need their food. What is it in New York City? More than half of immigrants are on welfare. Not just illegal immigrants, but that includes illegal immigrants. But more than half of immigrants in New York City are on welfare. And we all get to pay for all the Democrats' bad policy ideas. That's the least of our worries when it comes to them, because the murders and the rapes and the robberies and the lootings and thing, I think are worse. But Mike Johnson talked about the 42 million Americans that the Democrat Party is starving, like we're Ukraine and they are Moscow, where the Soviets, they starved to death millions of Ukrainians, and they stole all their food because that's what the left does. They murder and they steal. And Mike Johnson also talked about the women, the children, the infants, and the Democrats want to starve them all out. Isn't that just typical of the left and the Democrat Party? They're the commie left. In New York, they're going to elect a communist who's also a genocidal anti-Semite jihadi who wants to globalize the Intifada against the Jewish people everywhere in the world, which is, has the goal of killing them all. And he supports that. And Democrats in New York are voting for him. Even Jewish Democrats in New York are voting for him because the indoctrination, the brainwashing of the Democrat Party, it's everywhere. It's everywhere. All right, let's go. We have a Secretary of the Department of Transportation. His name is Sean Duffy. He was a member of the House of Representatives, and he's a great squared-away, normal person. He's normal. And I may not agree with him 100% of the time, but who cares? He's lion's share of the time in the right place. And Sean Duffy, the transportation secretary, talking about the Democrat Party shutdown and, transportation, air travel and all that. I was just talking about it.
There's a burning frustration like in the rest of the country. And so you mentioned that safety is my top priority, and it is. We will delay, we will cancel any kind of flight across the national airspace to make sure people are safe. But there is a level of risk that gets injected into the system when we have a controller that's doing two jobs instead of one. We manage that, we look out for it, and safety is the priority. We'll take all steps necessary, though, to make sure that you get from point A to point B and you do it safely.
Now, this is Chuck Schumer is endangering American lives by the thousands every day, and the Democrats, every filthy Democrat that voted 14 times to keep the government shut down, to shut the government down, and then to keep the government shut down. They voted against keeping the government open in the House under Hakeem the Jihadi Jeffries. He was mentored by his racist, anti-Semite uncle, who was his mentor growing up. Professor Leonard Jeffries, well-known Jew hater from way back. And here comes Leonard Jeffries, and he's no hot take for the Jewish people either. That's for sure. Your Democrat Party, aren't they? Really, really something. The commies are here. All right, let's go, because let's do a flashback here. 2013, and the government was shut down, and Barack Hussein Obama, he was out there talking about it because he was very angry in 2013 because, there was a government shutdown. And guess what? They want to blame who? Republicans. Here's Barack Hussein.
No Congress before this one has ever in history been irresponsible enough
Listen to the cult.
to threaten default.
And they clap.
To threaten an economic shutdown. To suggest America not pay its bills just to try to blackmail a president into giving them some concessions.
But wait a minute. Aren't the Democrats right now demanding $1.5 trillion to bail out your namesake, Obamacare, because you screwed the health care system over so thoroughly, Barack Hussein Obama, with something called Obamacare, that now the Democrats need to gun to the head, extort another $1.5 trillion, put it on the national debt, and you get 20-year-olds to say, oh, thank God they added another $1.5 trillion to my check. When I walk out the door, they're going to hand me the check for $40 trillion. Aren't they amazing? Barack Obama in 2013.
Republicans do not like the law. They can go through the regular channels and processes to try to change it.
If Democrats...
That's why we have elections. You do not threaten the full faith and credit of the United States of America.
Woo, woo, and they all clap. And he said that he slowed the rise of the oceans, and they clap, and their brains were defective at birth. That might have something to do with thalidomide. It's perfectly unclear. 2013. But wait a minute, Barack, why aren't you out there now saying that the Democrats can't be extorting and holding hostage the American people because they want to extract some policy change having to do with Obamacare, ironically. But he is now, and all the Democrats are now, in the opposite position of where Barack Hussein was in 2013. Because the Democrats are doing exactly what he's accusing the Republicans of doing 12 years ago. Just amazing. These people, if they're talking, they're lying. Oh, speaking of which, I have Gavin Newsom coming up today. This is fun stuff as well. And we continue to be at 888-630-9625.
We are 5 days away from fundamentally transforming the United States of America.
All right, let's go back to the telephones, Mike. Yeah, Barack Obama coming up. I have the governor of California coming up. I've got they're campaigning to destroy Western civilization. ISIS is not as dangerous to the United States as the Democrat Party is. Let's go to Glenn calling from Herndon, Virginia. Glenn, you're on the Chris Plant Show.
Hey, thanks, Chris. Appreciate it. The point I wanted to make was if the murderous rhetoric of the Democrat ticket in Virginia isn't enough, if the confusions that they cause and indoctrinations that they cause our kids isn't enough, if the fact that the Youngkin Sears Mayoris administration is running the state so well that they were able to put up $37.5 million per week to cover SNAP benefits, and I saw some blue states commenting on what they were doing. Oh, we can put $2 million to a food pantry. We can. That was, I think, Minnesota, or maybe $4 million, and then Maryland, $2 million. Youngkin Sears Mayoris is running this Commonwealth so well. They were able to implement $37.5 million per week out of the surplus that they managed for the state. Uh-huh. If all that's not enough, let's talk about the costs of Spanberger wanting to Californicate Virginia. Right when costs are starting to come down, I'm noticing gas prices, food prices, right when all that's starting to come down, she wants to implement the plan that will ban gas-powered weed whackers and so forth and those kinds of things. In addition, she just recently said she will not talk to and this is on video, she will not talk to the Trump administration about jobs and job creation. Well, wait a minute. Be you Democrat, be you Republican, be you federal worker, be you private sector worker, he's going to be there for 3 years. And then J.D. or Rubio about 8 years after that probably. Mm-hmm. So that's a hell of a long time. And even Mayor Bowser worked with him on crime and thanked him and said crime was going down. She's such a puppet. It's unbelievable that people can't see this.
Well, you covered a lot of good stuff there and did a very good job of it, Glenn. Thank you for that. And you know what it reminded me of? Michael Piercy whipped out a soundbite from Saturday Night Live not 48 hours ago, where they seem to be inciting violence to go with your guns and steal food.
Due to the government shutdown, SNAP food benefits ran out of funds today, but the government still provides needy families with free food through the Second Amendment.
See, Glenn, as you talked about the murderous rhetoric of the Democrat Party, it goes to Saturday Night Live, it goes to the senior leadership in the Democrat Party in Washington, and the man they want to make attorney general in the Commonwealth of Virginia, who wants to murder his opponents and kill their children. Now, in the Commonwealth of Virginia, they have this awful, terrible woman named Spanberger. It's Spanberger, right? I know. Her name is Abigail Spanberger. Spanberger. It's like a bridge, like a span, that is a meat patty, like a burger. She's a Spanberger. If we made bridges out of burgers, then that'd be perfect for her. Abigail Ann Davis Spanberger. She's a politician. She was in the U.S. House of Representatives from Virginia, and now she's a Democrat. Now she's wanting to fail upward, as is perfectly normal with these people, and she's running against Winsome Earl Sears, who is a wonderful woman, and her name came up earlier in the broadcast already once today. She reigns originally from Jamaica. She joined and served in the United States Marine Corps. She is a wonderful person and a great American, and she is going to be a great governor of Virginia if the crooked Democrats don't steal everything through the early voting and ballot harvesting and all the dirty third world banana republic tricks that the Democrat Party likes to do. But Winsome Earl Sears, if I lived in Virginia, would certainly get my vote, and Abigail Spanberger would not get my vote, not even close. It's just awful. And then as Attorney General in Virginia, they're running this lunatic who has murder in his heart, lust for murder, and he is the hero of the news media, naturally, because they're all crooked Democrats, too, and they're not legitimate journalists up and down the line. But the Attorney General race is one for the books. I mean, and it really is. Jason Miyares is the current Attorney General, and he's wonderful. He's the offspring of people that fled communism in communist Cuba. And now the Democrat Party is communist Cuba. Barack Obama, he loved communist Cuba. He loved the Castro brothers, Fidel and Raul Castro. He loved Che Guevara, a racist murderer who would have lined Barack Obama up against the wall and had somebody else shoot him, because that's what his hero Che Guevara was fond of doing. He was an anti-black racist. I've had this discussion with Democrats before. Che Guevara was a racist, I say. And they look confused for a minute, and they say, did he hate white people? Which would make it okay, because they're mentally ill. So we've got that going. Jason Miyares is the Attorney General. He's a great Attorney General, and he certainly ought to be winning this race. But the Democrats, they're running this creepy guy, Jay Jones, who famously in his it was a text exchange he was having with a woman in Virginia, and he said if he were in a room with Adolf Hitler, mass murderer, Pol Pot, mass murderer, and his opponent, the Republican leader in the State House in Virginia, and he only had 2 bullets in his gun, he would let Hitler live, and he would shoot the Republican in the head twice. He would let Pol Pot live, and he would shoot the Republican in the head twice. And then he said that he wants the Republicans' children to die in the arms of their mother, because that's the only way you get change in policy, is through personal suffering. And this is what the communists have taught the world over the last 100 years, what the left has taught the world over the last 100 years, and they're really something. And this guy, if he had been a Republican, he would have been crucified by the New York Times and 60 Minutes, and we've got President Trump from 60 Minutes last night too. And these guys, 2 bullets, and what am I going to do? I'm gonna kill the Republican, and I'm going to waste the second bullet on him too, because that's what Jay Jones is all about. That's what he wants. Murder. That's what resides in his heart. And when he's telling the truth, that's what he reveals, is that he has murder in his heart, and he is a political extremist and a fanatic. Jay Jones, he's the Democrat nominee for Attorney General in Virginia. And tomorrow is Election Day. You can vote early today. Look out for Mike the Lib at the polling places, though. We've already had one of our listeners, one caller, ran into Mike the Lib at the polling place. But never mind that. Yeah, he sent texts all the way back in 2022. If you're a Republican, that doesn't matter. Remember the recent Democrat governor of Virginia? He was the guy in the Klan uniform in his class photo, next to the guy in blackface for his class photo. And they're all Democrats, and that's okay. That's right, 2 bullets to the head for the Republican House Speaker in Virginia. And then he wished that his children would be murdered too in the arms of their mother. And when you're a Democrat, this is no problem for you politically, not a problem at all. And Barack Obama was out there campaigning for this guy, because you know how they are. All right, where are we starting now, Michael? 9? Is that right? Number 9. Let's go to some audio for you, because there's a lot to talk about. Barack Hussein Obama, insane. Barack Hussein Obama out stumping. That's a funny word, stumping. On the campaign trail for Spanberger, who doesn't like America. She's not on the side of the good guys. But here's Barack Obama. He's on the campaign trail. And I'm sorry, keep in mind while you're listening to this Obama soundbite, that Barack Obama was shot through the ear at a rally in Butler. Pardon me, Donald Trump. I'm looking at Barack Obama's name in front of me. Sorry. That Donald Trump it's Barack Obama spewing these lies, all lies, I tell you. But it was Donald Trump that was shot through the air in Butler, Pennsylvania, a second would-be assassin, Donald Trump's golf course in Florida. The Speaker of the House this morning holding a press conference with Steve Scalise next to him. He was shot through the the torso by a Bernie Sanders campaign volunteer. No problem there. And the list goes on and on. Charlie Kirk was assassinated recently by a rifle. The Democrats shut the government down. The government shutdown right now is on the Lizard King, Chuck Schumer, and Obama over the weekend campaigning for Abigail Spanberger.
The point is, there is absolutely no evidence.
What's the point?
Republican policies have made life better for you, the people of Virginia.
That's a lie.
It's worse than even I expected, but I did warn y'all.
Y'all. Yeah, you got that old Hawaii, the old Hawaii y'all. You know, he grew up in the south of Hawaii. He didn't really. But yeah, y'all, because he's regular folksy. It's like Hillary Clinton doing a southern accent. Isn't that great? Braga. Yeah, there's no Memphis. It's the mean-spiritedness. They'll let Barack Obama.
They put on a big show of deporting people and targeting transgender folks.
Big show.
They never miss a chance to
targeting transgender
scapegoat
folks.
Minorities and DEI for every problem under the sun. You got a flat tire? DEI. What they have not devoted energy to is helping you. They have not put forward serious proposals to lower housing costs or make groceries more affordable.
No, the Democrats are lowering housing costs and making groceries more affordable. No, they're not. They're doing nothing of the kind. In fact, Joe Biden had 9.1% inflation rates. We had grocery store shelves were bare that most of us in America have never seen in our lifetimes. But never mind that. And, you guys are making everything better. And he stands there with his fake, toothy smile. I think he's winking at Larry Sinclair in the back of the crowd. Isn't that amazing? And Big Mike's over there pumping iron. You know how they are. Barack Obama, he is, he doesn't like Republicans.
So if you believe in that better story of America, do not sit this one out.
I'd agree with that.
Vote for leaders like Abigail who believe it too.
Leaders
who care about your freedoms.
Abigail who believe it too.
And will fight for your rights.
There's a fight. Even on Saturday Night Live, they're recommending armed robbery to get a sandwich because the Democrats are a violent criminal organization. I don't know how many people they have to shoot before they get a reputation. How many American presidents have been shot by Democrats? Well, let's see. Let's go down the list. Isn't that amazing? Then Abigail Spanberger was there herself because they all want to date each other. When I say date, that's a euphemism. Isn't that amazing? Abigail Spanberger, she was in Falls Church over the weekend. Barack Hussein was in Norfolk over the weekend. Abigail Spanberger in Falls Church.
This is what they are attacking, not just our economy and Virginians and their livelihoods, but the service,
the shutdown
to our country that they bring to bear every day. And
service
we need a
country
governor who, despite all of the bad policies coming out of this White House and this Republican-led Congress, we need a governor who will work to mitigate every harm.
Should service to country. She's running against a former Marine who is an immigrant from Jamaica who is being yelled at in the crowd by a Democrat who's shouting, "Go back to Haiti, go back to Haiti," when she's from Jamaica, which is a different country, unless you're a Democrat. Isn't that amazing? The Democrat Party. Complete scamsters, Spanberger. Winsome Earl Sears is that person that I just met. And why is Barack Obama campaigning for the rich white woman? And my best girl and I, we were out walking the last couple of days, and on the sidewalk, a brick sidewalk, Washington, D.C., it was yesterday, and walking toward us, two middle-aged white women on this sidewalk, a brick sidewalk, not a very wide sidewalk. And my best girl and I walking side by side, and you see two people are coming, and you kind of, you skip over a little bit, and I pull up behind my best girl to make room for the two of them to go by. And they just, both of them, don't notice that there's anybody coming, just walk through like they're the Third Reich, right? Like we're supposed to get out of their way, get off the sidewalk because they're goose-stepping in their hobnailed boots toward us. And my best girl, I didn't even say anything. My best girl said after they stormtrooped by us, said, very wealthy neighborhood, $6 million houses all over the place. And my best girl said, the entitled nature of liberal white women knows no bounds. And as true, just these middle-aged white women walking out of their multi-million-dollar houses. They obviously aren't walking enough, just based on my sizing them up as they stormed by, shaking the trees, boom, 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 boom. And they're not budging for anybody. Everybody is expected to get out of their way. So I tripped the one. She fell into the other. The ambulance came. It was hilarious. Right, that part didn't happen, but amazing stuff. All right, let's go to the woman who ought to be governor, who, if you were really a white liberal, you'd vote for Winsome Earl Sears to become governor. A great American woman, a former Marine, who actually served, and an immigrant to the United States, and a black woman. And why is the African-American former President Barack Hussein Obama not campaigning for the black woman? He's campaigning to get an entitled white Democrat, a white liberal woman, to become governor of Virginia. Honestly, the last time there was a big Democrat leader, I'm flashing back to Jefferson Davis during the Civil War. He was a Democrat, and their capital was in Richmond, Virginia. But Winsome Earl Sears, she's on the side of America. You should vote for her.
They don't have momentum because none of the things that my opponent, Abigail Spanberger, says make sense. She wants men in locker rooms with our young girls. She wants to tax us. She says she's going to increase our taxes. She's going to kill jobs. And then, of course, we know she's not going to keep us safe because she's soft on crime.
But other than that, I'm sure she'll be a very good governor. They should bring back, Mr. Klan uniform blackface, because when you're a Democrat, none of that matters. It all just washes away. Isn't that nice? So good to be a Democrat, isn't it? Wah, wah, wah. I am telling you. Yes, sir. All right. We've got a lot more to get to because it just keeps on coming. And tomorrow is, it's an off-year election year, and it matters. New York City, New Jersey, Philadelphia, Virginia, and the left is on the wrong side of everything, as always. They are really something. All right, lots more to get to. Yes, sir. And it was daylight saving time over the weekend. We fell back. Like Joe Biden trying to go up the stairs to Air Force One. Just fell. But Chris, he fell forward most of the time going up the stairs to Air Force One. Isn't that great? But I've got a story. How do you like daylight saving time? Should we keep daylight saving time, or should we do away with daylight saving time? There's a Gallup poll on that I wish to share with you as well. Did you know that the all-new third-generation Eden Pure Thunderstorm air purifier has finally arrived? And the third generation builds on the incredible success of the first two generations, and they had already earned thousands of 5-star reviews on Al Gore's Amazing Internet instant bestseller. The new third-generation Thunderstorm uses 2 technologies that studies have shown help to kill up to 99.9% of bacteria and viruses in the air that you breathe, your family breathes. It removes dust and pet dander and smoke and everything else. It also gets rid of any stinky smell, guaranteed. Odors from kitty litter boxes, trash cans, cigarette smoke, liberals in your household, musty basements. No match for the Eden Pure Thunderstorm. Now, you can save right now, because we hang out together, $200 American on an Eden Pure Thunderstorm 3-pack for whole home protection. So you can put one in your basement, your teenager's room, your kitchen, any place you like to breathe clean, fresh air. All you have to do is go to EdenPureDeals.com and use the discount code Chris3. That's me, +3, CHRIS and the number 3 to save $200 on 3 thunderstorms. That's EdenPureDeals.com. The discount code is Chris3. Ba-dum-da-dum, Yeah, and wait till you hear the governor of California. What a Sacagawea this guy is. And wait till you hear this audio. Yes. All right, let's go to the telephone. I was thinking about this Democrat shooting people in the head thing, something they have a long history of doing in the olden days and in the modern days. Party of civil war and crime, and Even their comedians talk about shooting people and stealing things. Saturday Night Live night before last. Let's go to the telephones. Let's go to Drew, calling from Annandale, Virginia. Drew Mobile, you're on the Chris Plant Show.
How you doing, Chris?
I'm
sure you're just about as sick of this stuff as, Abigail Spanberger's resume inflation.
Mm-hmm.
I was a federal law enforcement officer and everything. Then you find out daddy got her a job at the most nepotistic and incestuous organization in D.C., the Postal Office Inspection Service.
Uh-huh.
She's sitting there fighting, against child traffickers and drug dealers. And I go, yeah, you're just steaming over people's mail. Okay. And then secondly, her global war on terror thing. I was an officer for the CIA. I go, her background is in French literature. If she was doing anything in the global war on terror, she was sitting in some windowless room. I was at an embassy for over 3 years. I ran into people like this all the time. Okay. They're sitting in a windowless room listening for people saying boom or bomb in French, Spanish, or English. I mean, that's the closest. She's trying to make it like she was some fast roping out of some Chinook with a knife in her teeth. I mean, she was just sitting there doing spooky things in a spooky little room. Okay, that's the closest she ever had. And nobody calls them out. I was Tulsi Gabbard over at ODNI. Anybody who's running for congressional office or public office who's trying to claim CIA on their resume, they should declassify their jackets so we know exactly what they did. Because they all like to think that they're all James Bond and then, they are just – a goober sitting there with a thin tie, sitting in a cube with a set of headphones on.
Right. Yeah, the most impressive element of their CIA career was the parking space they had in Langley, pretty close to the building. Nice. Very impressive. Absolutely true. You're right. You're right about all that. She also taught at, what was it called? The Saudi Academy. The Saudi Arabian, the Islamic Saudi Academy in Northern Virginia. She taught there, too.